three. So, what if your job isn't just a source of income, but also a hidden force behind your energy, your cravings, and even the success of your fasting? So tonight, I am 33 hours into this week's fast, and I am sharing how your work life can either support or sabotage your metabolic health. Let's talk alignment, stress, purpose, and how your 9 to 5 might be affecting your ability to reverse your diabetes. This is about more than just your job. It's about your life. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And we are living a limitless life. And limitless living says that I'm not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside of me to prevent me from doing what I need to do to be successful and to put my health in shape. I am working. I am doing what I need to do. I'm presenting my best self, my best health, and my best plans for my life. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. If you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music and let you know that I am so excited that you are here. If you have questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments because I'd love to welcome and answer those questions, and go make sure that you put a Q in front of that question so we'll know that that is one that we need to get to as we move through our space tonight. I've got my monitors off to my side that we're going to be taking a look at here in just a minute. I've got my report that will show up in just a minute, and we'll be able to say hello to some of our community members, whatever platform you are joining us from. I'm so excited that you're here, whether that is LinkedIn, Twitch, Instagram, of course, Facebook, and then here on YouTube. So glad that you have decided to join us in this space. So you'll see there my monitor, which is right below me or off to the side. Well, let's do that. Yeah, there we are. I've got my monitors off to the side that we'll take a look at. I've got my Contour, and of course here is my Keto Mojo, and then right below me, that is my Dexcom Clarity Report, which we'll take a look at to see what's been going on with my blood sugars over the course of the last several days. I'm glad that you're here once again. If you've not done so, let me give a plug for our 100-day walk to consistency. That is the series that we've been doing, that we've been walking through. And man, today we are on day, guess what? Day number 99. That's right, 99 days into the series so far. And we are going to day 100 tomorrow. But if you've not been there, if you've not done that, it's not too late because all of those episodes are on our channel. Make sure you get out there. So as we're talking about our metabolic health and as we're talking about reversing diabetes, there are a host of things that we can do, but there are some tools that we can use that supercharge our ability to move in the metabolic space and to improve our health and to reverse our diabetes and deal with all those metabolic issues that we talk about: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, and the list goes on and on and on. And one of the most important things that we can do is we can begin moving. And so the 100-day walk that we've been doing is that space where you get to create on a daily basis a place where you can learn, expand your mind, and begin moving your body. So make sure you get out there and you watch it. And on the heels of that, right here, right now, what we're doing is we are in the process of fasting. And you've heard me say that I'm 33 hours into this week's fast. If you're joining us for the first time, the reason that we are fasting is because fasting is one of the tools, one of those key things that will hit all of the pillars for reversing diabetes: decreasing insulin, suppressing our appetite, and reducing our sugar. And if we can do that, then we are in the process of reversing our diabetes. So glad that you're here. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at blood sugars to see where I've been. And then we'll come back. We'll take say hello to some of our community members and get on into our discussion for this evening. So on the screen, you'll see coming up, that is my current blood sugar according to my my Freestyle Libre, and this is, I think, a Libre 3. I don't think it's a plus. It's a Libre 3. But you see, that's my blood sugar there, and I'm looking at this. You see this graph right about there. Okay, so right near the bottom of the screen, and you'll see for the first part of the day, my blood sugars are riding right above 70. And then somewhere in the mid-afternoon around 3:30 or so, then it dropped below 70, and that's why you see that line, the squiggly line, changed from being white to being red. So that's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing there right now. And then if I hop over and take a look at my Dexcom Clarity, here is what the Clarity is saying. And one of the reasons I like the Clarity is I can actually put my finger here and we can actually see what those numbers are as we went through the day. So that's starting this morning at about 9:11. And if I scroll through, you'll see that for most of the early morning, I was in the 90s to low 100s. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think. I think after, what was that? What was the lowest? After about 10, quarter to 11, my blood sugar never got back above 100, and so continued to go down and stayed in the upper 90s, low 80s, or upper 80s, low 90s. And you'll see there for most of the afternoon, we've been kind of riding in the 80s, right? So 80 up to, let's see, what's the highest that we had? 80, maybe 87. And then, of course, now where we are at 82, right? And so that is Dexcom and the Freestyle. Let's hop over and let's take a look. So these are my monitors. I've got a Keto Mojo monitor, which will give me glucose and ketones. And then over here, this is my Contour, which of course just gives me blood sugar. So let's grab out of my handy dandy container. Let's get a strip. This is the brown one is for blood sugar, and the blue one is for ketones. That's for the Keto Mojo. And then, of course, while I'm in here, I'm going to get one of these. I'll get 2 Lancets because one of them was bent the last time we did this. And, of course, now let's get a strip for our Contour. Let's grab that out. Come on, come on. And if you think you know what my ketones are going to be, go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. So let's get that one in. So that's the Contour. I'm going to open up both strips for the ketone and the blood sugar, and go ahead and get this one in here. And I'm going to open the ketone and just have it off to the side. That way I don't have to stick myself another time. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to bring this up so you can see. Yeah, this one is not bent, which is yay. I love it. And I'm going to use the same finger we've been using before, because that one is not as hard and calloused as the others. And hopefully, we get a good flow of blood. And yeah, there it is. Go ahead and get this started. And this is the Keto Mojo. That's the blood sugar. Let's see what we got. Our Contour. So 76 is what you see there from the Keto Mojo. And we'll have that Contour come up in just a minute. So 76. Boom. Let's get this out and get our ketone strip in. And let me do that quickly before this drop of blood dries. And boom, there we are. Okay, so let's see what that's going to show us. Did it start? Yeah, there it is. Let's see. Should I show it to you guys now, or should I let you guess? What do you think? What do you think? Should I show it now and let you guess? So once again, 33 hours into this week's fast is where I am. And so we'll let that go, and we'll come back to take a look at that in just a little while. Let me go ahead and do my check-in. All right, so I'm going to do my check-in, and usually whenever you are making changes, whenever you are in the process of improving, whenever you are making decisions about body, about food and weight and fasting and whatever plans you have, you want to make sure that you are evaluating whether you're getting what the benefits that it's supposed to give. And so here in this space, as I'm fasting, I want to see how my body's doing, how things are, and the three areas that I recommend that people kind of talk about, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And you will recognize those because those are three of the pillars that we've been talking about with respect to our health, right? So three of the pillars of health. And so physically, we went camping this weekend. Yay. And it was an amazing time. And I came away from camping and I got home on Sunday. Yeah, they got home on Sunday. And I think, no, I didn't go to sleep. I kind of was up and, kind of getting back into life. And then went to sleep. Yeah, went to sleep in the afternoon. I think I slept for most of the evening, woke up around 10 o'clock, got back in bed, and over the last several days, I've actually been doing a pretty good job of resting. And so right now, physically, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm feeling energetic, feeling energized. It was an amazing trip. I loved it. It was one of the things. It was one of my goals for this year was to take the kids camping, and so we did that and had a great time. So physically feeling good, right? Feeling energetic. As you know, our physical health has a big part to play in how we think and how we see the world. And so because I'm rested mentally, I'm feeling good. Going back to physically for a minute. Not feeling tired, not feeling as though I'm hitting a wall, not feeling as though I'm drained, not feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, all those things that people will say when we talk about the physical, right? So right now, doing well. One of the reasons that people will have issues with the physical part of fasting, and some of the symptoms that they get is if you are on medication. If you're on medication, particularly diabetes medication, whose job it is to lower your blood sugar, you should talk with your healthcare provider to say, hey, I'm going to be fasting. How do I go about making sure that I am adjusting medications appropriately? Because if you don't do that, then that can have a big effect on the physical. And then, of course, here we are in the mental, it will affect that as well. And then emotionally, I am just pumped. As I mentioned before, we are a day away from the end of our current walking series, looking into the future. I'm here with you guys. I'm 33 hours into this fast, and coming out of the weekend, there was a little struggle because food-wise, there was a little struggle because I was out, and if you look at my fasting episode that we did on Friday, when we did our check-in, you'll recall that I was out setting the camp up and started feeling lightheaded, started feeling dizzy, started feeling as though I was going to, it was actually, I wasn't going to say blackout, but for lack of a better phrase. And so I had to quickly stop and do some things, taking care of that. And then, of course, we were here breaking that fast on the show with you as you watched that. But coming out of that, it was a very intense weekend. So I was in charge. I was the camp director, and I had some amazing staff, amazing kids. But I just had to make sure that everything was working in order. Everything was going well as we went through the weekend. And so coming out of that, I was tempted, y'all, to go eat some stuff. And I didn't. But emotionally right now, I'm feeling pumped because everything went well. We're in a new week, and I'm moving forward in excitement in all the things that we're doing and all the things that are happening with me. Okay? So physically, mentally, and emotionally right now, feeling pretty excited about the space I am and excited about the fast that I'm doing right now. So let's hop over and let's say hello to some of our community members. I see you out there. So let's pop up and say, let's see. I see Jian is saying hello. She said, hello, doctor. And hello, she says, hi, Limitless Living Gang. If you guys don't recognize that, that's what that is. And then we have Kenti Freeter, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. 80 seconds. Let's get this week's fast. Let's get Gion say, hey, welcome. Let me give you a hand clap. And Gion, I will come back. Okay, I think Gion is dropping out to her. I think she has a class right now. Cornelia, hi, Dr. Gion and Kenti. Glad that you're here. Pamela, hello, everyone. Cornelia saying, hi, Pam. Hello, Cornelia from Pam. And Steve is giving his guess. He's dropping his guess. 0.8 is what he said he thinks that my ketones are going to be. Cornelia saying, hey, Steve. Hello, friends from Steve. And Pamela, hey, Steve. Yes. So glad that everyone is here in this space. So let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's talk about our fasting. So once again, 33 hours into this week's fast. And you know, at this point in the fast, that most of my glycogen that is stored in the liver is gone. And that process usually happens between 24 and 36 hours, depending on the things that you've eaten when you came into the fast, and then of course just kind of the normal metabolic physiologic process that goes on in the body. That's about the time that that has been proven that this is what's happening. And so right now at 33 hours, I am either beyond where the glycogen is, or the glycogen is just about to end, to go away. And so looking at my blood sugars, all right, so looking at my blood sugars there, you'll see that I'm 69, and I get excited when I see that number kind of fluctuate up in the above 70 and below 70. Because the question that people ask me all the time is, if you are fasting, why is the blood sugar not continually going down and staying down? And as you know, when the body burns fat, it breaks down something called triglycerides. So triglycerides. And the tri part, those are the fatty acids that are attached to that molecule. And the glyceride or glycerol part, the body takes and it converts that to sugar. And so even though you've not eaten sugar, even though you have not eaten carbs for 24 hours, and in this case 36 hours, the body still has the ability to take some of the substrate, if you will, the energy that you have stored as it's breaking down the fat, and it has the ability to convert that to sugar. And so whenever I see my ketones are elevated and I see my blood sugars drop below 70, and then I start to see them come back up and they're fluctuating, they're playing around that 70 line, I get excited, because that means that if I step on the scale, come on, if I step on the scale, I'm expecting that scale number to be going down, number one. Number two, when I am looking at my blood sugars, as I do with my monitors, I expect that if the blood sugars are lower, then I'm expecting that my body is not having to produce insulin to deal with those blood sugars. And so in the process of fasting, I am becoming more insulin sensitive. And if I'm becoming more insulin sensitive, if my insulin level is going down, then my cravings are going away. The food noise goes down. My dysregulated satiety and hunger hormones are becoming settled. See all those downstream things? If the amount of insulin that my body's making is decreasing as well, then that insulin is not going to my blood vessels to cause them to become more stiff. And if that's the case, then my blood pressure, which is a marker of how much force there is sometimes, my blood pressure is decreasing. And again, if I'm burning ketones, as is indicated by my ketones in my monitor, and as is indicated by the fluctuations in my blood sugar, that is a sign of burning ketones. Then one of the other things that's happening is that my body is having to use fat from all over. That includes some of the fatty liver that may be going on in my system. You see all those metabolic benefits that I get from fasting. And so at 33 hours, that is what I'm anticipating that's going on. And so there are so many different things that will affect us as we move into our fasting space. And this week we've been talking about our occupation. We've been talking about your work. So how does work affect what we do when it comes to our metabolism? Well, is there a work wellness connection? Is there a work wellness connection? And the answer is yes. So occupational health isn't just about how many hours you work. It's also about the quality of those hours. It's about the purpose. It's about alignment. It's about fulfillment. And it's about the stress that sometimes comes and the environment that we find ourselves in. Last season, we did a section about cleaning out our environment. All right, and we'll talk about that here. Just hang on till we get to close to the end of this. We'll give you some ideas. But the not just the stress, but the environment that we're in will either promote or it can sometimes cause difficulty for our fasting. So when your job drains you, your body responds with cortisol level. We've talked about that, right? So cortisol, epinephrine, those two stress hormones. When that happens, your sleep can suffer. And let's be honest, right? So does your food choices. So that preparing for a fast, the choices that you make getting into the fast can be things that don't support successful fasting. The choices that you make coming out of a fast may make it difficult to get the benefits that you thought you were getting from the fast. And of course, during the fast itself, whatever's going on in the environment can promote fasting and have successful fasting, or it can cause those levels, those cortisol levels to go so high, the cravings to go up, the hunger and satiety hormones to get dysregulated, and all of a sudden you are 2 hours into a fast and you break the fast. Not because that's what you wanted, but because of the environment that you find yourself in, that work environment. And of course, you come home and you want to buffer the stress that comes from from your job. And so what do you eat? Chips, cookies, candy, cake, Ben & Jerry's ice cream, Cadbury chocolate. I'm not sure why I threw those in there, but hey. And because of that, because of the stress, you skip your workout. You skip your walk. You're supposed to get up in the morning to do our 100-day walk for consistency. And you're like, okay, I can't do that today. But when your work is aligned with your purpose and your schedule supports your health, your body actually works with you. Fasting becomes smoother. Your mind gets clearer. That beta hydroxybutyrate. Energy flows instead of fights you. That's what we're unpacking tonight. The connection, the interconnection, the interplay between our work and our metabolism. So my work life and fasting. My work life and fasting. Let me bring this home with a story. I've been practicing as an endocrinologist for years. But it wasn't until I aligned my work with my message, this mission of reversing diabetes and building metabolic freedom, that I saw a shift in my own body and my own responses. When I became aligned, when what I did became aligned with who I thought I needed to be, then I began making changes for myself. And so as you're watching, right, you are, and I tell people all the time, you are getting a front row seat as I walk through my journey. And what you're seeing is the benefit of alignment with what I think I should be doing and how it's affecting me in all aspects of my life. When we talk about the domains of health, and we've been kind of walking through that on our mini series, when we're talking about the domains of health, all the domains of health get better when another domain of health gets better. Did you hear what I said? So we often talk about them as though they're disconnected, but they are all intertwined. And so when one improves, it doesn't just improve in that area, but it begins to have a domino effect on everything else that we do. And so tonight, I'm 33 hours into this week's fast. And it's not just about willpower. My work life now gives me rhythm. It is the tenure of my life. It is the thing that I need to be doing. It's the thing that I think about, the thing I wake up thinking about, the thing I go to sleep thinking about, the thing that I think about, how do I improve? How do I get better? I know that I'll be busy. I know that there are all these things that I've got to do and get in place and get strategized, and I've got to plan, I've got to put in my schedule. I know all of that. But because of the alignment, I am in the process always of thinking, okay, how do I continue living limitlessly? And here's a question that I want you to ask yourself all the time when you're making decisions about what to eat, whether you're going to walk, whether you're going to exercise, whether you're going to swim or row, whatever it is, whether you're going to stay up late. What does limitless living look like in this instance, in this situation? Because it's great to listen to the video, and it's great to journal. It's great to all the education that we do, right? Educate, we empower, we encourage. All the education is great. But right here today, right now, at this moment, what does limitless living look like? And what does it look like in our jobs? So I am more organized because of my alignment, because I know the things I've got to do. Even stress feels different when you're aligned. Your body still responds, but not with the same urgency. I don't feel like I have to eat something all the time to soothe myself. I feel like I'm walking in purpose. My Dexcom and my Libre are examples on a daily basis of the fact that I am healing my body, that my metabolism is improving. When I look at them, when I see that, as a matter of fact, sometimes when I hear it go off, right, because I go low, quote unquote, the blood sugar is lower. For instance, you saw it was 69 or whatever it was when we started. So that goes off. And for me, that's exciting. Because I know that my fasting is doing that. That my improvement in my metabolism is doing that. So no longer those blood sugars that I used to have. And you've seen those. When I look at my weight, and I see the changes that are happening with my weight, then I know that my metabolism is improving. And a big part of that is the fact that I feel aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's my work life, and my fasting journey. So alignment is the secret to lasting results. So alignment is one of the pillars of limitless living. It's actually the middle piece, and you've heard me talk about rhythm, alignment, and structure. Rhythm is the tone of your life. What is the bent of your life? What is the purpose of your life? What is your North Star statement? What is the thing that you're supposed to be doing? What is the rhythm of your life? And alignment are the things I'm doing, the behaviors I have, the food I eat, the things I cook, the decisions I make when I'm in stress. Are they all aligned with what I say I'm supposed to be doing, the person I'm trying to create, the person I'm trying to be? Alignment. And then, of course, structure is those things that we put in place to help us not rely on our motivation, because motivation is fleeting. You'll wake up today and you'll be fully motivated. As a matter of fact, when you finish watching this video, it's like, yes, let's do it. Dr. Woode said, let's do it. Ah, rah, 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 rah. And then something happens and the motivation fades. And if there's no structure there, then so does the impetus to do and say the things that you need to do to be successful. And here's why alignment matters. When your values and your vocation align, the body relaxes. But when there's no alignment, there is difficulty. When your schedule aligns with your biology, your metabolism thrives. When the tasks that you do align with your goals, your cravings decrease. Think of it like a rowing team. If one person is offbeat, the whole boat jerks. But when they're all in rhythm, the boat glides. Your metabolism is the same. I've seen it in my own body. When my days are scattered, my energy crashes. When my schedule doesn't allow me to do my routines. When I say yes to too many things and don't align with my core mission, my body pays the price. But when I align my calendar with my calling, fasting isn't just easier, it's enjoyable. And sometimes people, they think me strange when I say that when I'm approaching a fast, when it's time for me to fast, I get excited. Because during the fast, the food noise quiets. And I find myself having to put in practice the tools that we talk about. The mindfulness, the mindful eating. Our COPE model: clarify, observe, pause, execute. When things are coming at me, I've got to wonder, okay, which of the pieces of the HEAT model, habits, emotions, access, and taste, which of them is now coming into play? And that for me is exciting and beautiful. I love how that works. So what do you do if you are not aligned? What do you do if you're not aligned? Maybe you're watching this and thinking, well, Doc, that's great for you. Right? But I'm stuck in a job that drains me. I'm stuck in retirement and I don't know what to do. And I hear you. And here's the thing. You don't have to quit your job to begin building alignment. Oh, whoa, wait. What? You don't have to quit your job to become aligned. So here are 3 things that you can do. Right? We're going to talk about some other things, but here are 3. Number 1, set boundaries around your health. Set boundaries around your health at your job. Make fasting a movement. Make fasting a thing for you. And don't let it be negotiable. Don't let your job steal that. Now, that requires that you take charge of that. One of the things that I had to do in my office, and we have for an endocrinology office, let me just say this, right? And we joke about this all the time in the office. For an endocrinology office, there is an obscene amount of food that comes through the office. Because people are always bringing us stuff on holidays, and we got a holiday coming up, at the end of the year, last year, right? So there's people want to bring things on Halloween. They want to bring things on Thanksgiving as we approach that. They want to bring things for Christmas and New Year's, right? When it's my birthday, people want to bring things. We have pharmaceutical reps who bring lunch for us, for various things. So food is coming through. And you guys remember when we were fasting last season, I would tell you that when I first started fasting, what I would do is all the stuff that came through the office, I would hoard it, I would collect it, because in my head, by God, I didn't eat it all week. I didn't eat it while I'm out fasting, and when I end my fast, I'm sure going to have some of that. So the scarcity mentality. I don't know when I'm going to have any more again, so let me just put it all together. And I remember one time I had done that, and at the end of the week, I had collected all the food, and I looked at the food, everybody. I laid it out because I brought it home. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness. Are you telling me that all of that is what I would have eaten this week? Yeah. And so I had to make a decision that it was not worth me having that mindset. Let me start there. Having that mindset and disrupting the benefits that I was getting from my fasting. Because when the food was there, now it was out in the break room, it was in the refrigerator, not a problem. But what I was doing is I was going to get my piece, and I have a refrigerator in my office, and I would put it in my office. So every time I go into the office, my brain said, it's in there. And I put more stuff, and it's in there, and it's in there, and it's in there. And after a while, it's in there became, okay, you got to eat it. Right? Don't waste it. That whole, empty your plate. So don't let the things that happen at your job steal that from you. You can make decisions about what you eat and about the things you do at work, right? See how that ties in? So you can make a decision about what you eat, but you can also make a decision about some other things at your job. So the things that you take, people talk about snacking. I'm going to take some stuff to snack. Snacking is a whole nother conversation, right? I keep saying we're going to do a series on snacking. Not done it yet, but we're coming to it. You don't have to snack. You don't have to get the stuff that everybody has around the office. Inject purpose into your day. So if you feel like there is no purpose, I'm just going through the motions, you do something at your job. You are good at something at your job. That's why they got you there, right? They're giving you a paycheck. Find a way to make that a thing. Whether it's teaching somebody else, finding somebody who's new, or even somebody that's not even at your job, somebody at your church and your community, teach them your skill. They don't have to have you come to your job. You can teach them somewhere else. Find a community center. Mentor a co-worker. Take a gratitude walk during the day. Take a break during the day. At lunch. Learn something new about your job. Own your experience. The things that you do on a daily basis, the experiences you have, those are yours. They're not mine. I don't create them. They are yours. You can enhance that experience. I mentioned that several seasons ago we had a series that we did where we brought folks on who were having success and enjoying what they were currently doing. And I can't tell you the number of people that came on that said, the thing that I'm doing now is not what I started out doing. But the things that I'm doing now, some of the skills I'm using now are the skills I got on that job that I thought I didn't want. And then start rebuilding rhythms. Create a morning and an evening routine that grounds you before and after work. This is the structure, right? Rhythm, alignment, and structure. When I pass on the highway and I pass the rocket, that's where my brain says, okay, I need to now change. I need to switch. Right? I'm about to go home. What's my routine? And fasting is a lab for life, y'all. This 72-hour fast that I do weekly has become my personal lab. I get to test what throws me off. I get to test what energizes me, what gives me peace. So tonight at 33 hours, I feel focused. But that's not an accident. It's because the rhythm of my work is working with my biology and not against my biology. If you're fasting and you feel like you're always battling, ask yourself, is your schedule aligned with what you say you're going to do? Are you overbooked? Have you said yes to too many things? One of our community members talks about being a minimalist. Are you concerned about things that shouldn't concern you? Are you trying to change things that you don't have control over? And are you putting the time and energy into the things that you can control? And are you saying yes to the things that deplete you? Mm-hmm. So how do we create a fasting-friendly work environment, a fasting-friendly work environment? Well, number one, breaks don't equal snacks. Did you get that? Breaks don't equal snacks. Now, you know, the whole snacking thing is an interesting conversation. And I think it's worth maybe just having a little conversation right here about it. We've become used to snacking. Now, I tell you, when I go to the grocery store, a lot of times, I will go and I'll pick stuff up because I'm thinking, hey, maybe tonight I can have this later. Now, it's not a meal. I'm not saying I'm going to have it for breakfast, lunch, and supper. I'm not saying I'm going to have it for my one meal a day, whatever that is. But I'm saying at some point today, or tomorrow, or if we're on a trip, if we're in a car, if I'm driving, I'm going to want something to eat, so I'm going to go get this. So I am deliberately planning to snack. Do you see that? And so we do that. And so being able to say that when I take my break, that doesn't mean I have to snack, is a part of creating that work environment that supports your fasting. Take a walk, breathe, stretch. You don't have to eat something. Recognize or reorganize your space. Have some water nearby. Tell people don't bring snacks to put on your desk. There are these cookies. I call them hump cookies because they're little cookies. They're flat and they have a little hump in the middle. And I'm gonna tell you all, they are like the most delicious, sweet things that you've ever had. And like I said in the office, people bring stuff. And so I liked the cookies. I should say I liked with a past tense. I like those cookies. In fact, if somebody walked in here right now with one of those cookies, we'd have to take a pause. But I had to come to the decision that I could not continue in the way I was relating to the cookies. And so I used to take cookies and take them to my office. I don't do that anymore. When they bring them, they are out there. The team gets to eat them. They get to have them if they want. But I don't do that. Don't keep the snacks. Don't keep those things where you are. They remind you of food. Set boundaries. Communicate with your workers, your staff, your team, the people who are with you, your coworkers, and say, hey, thank you, but I don't want any right now. Thank you, but I don't need that right now. Thank you, but I don't, right? Thank you, but have some mindful distractions, some tools. Right? If you, like at our office, we have these little squeeze things that are around. And so sometimes I'll grab one and I'll squeeze it. As a matter of fact, I'm standing at the computer and there's this little, I'm not even sure where it came from. One of our team members who's no longer with us brought them in. And so they're there and I grab them every now and then, I squeeze it. Distractions. Because I'm creating for myself an environment that supports my fasting. Reset your rituals. A midday breathe, a midday affirmation, a midday walk. So right now we're doing the 100-day walk to consistency. And a lot of times during lunch, I'll go walk because I'm doing the video. What's one thing that you can do? What's one change that you can make at work to support your fast? So work is not just what we do. It's where we live a third of our lives. It shapes our biology, our blood sugar, our hormones, our stress, our habits. If you want your fast to be easier, if you want your mind to be clearer, if you want your life to be fuller, then alignment is the key. You need rhythm, you need alignment, and you need structure. And it starts by taking back control of your environment, whether that's at work or if you're retired at home. One decision at a time. You don't have to go tear everything down. So the question that I have is your work, is what you do, is the space you're in, is it supporting your wellness or is it silently sabotaging it? You want to make sure that you're taking a look at that. And if you can elucidate that, if you can understand that, if there's an issue there, if you can fix that, you know what? This process that we're going, reversing diabetes, fasting becomes simpler. Now I'm gonna tell you, I was gonna say the word I was gonna use is easier. Sometimes we look for easy. Maybe it's not easier, but it's simpler because I have the structure there. And so now there is no, am I going to fast this week for me? There's no, when am I going to fast for me? Not because of this intense motivation or this intense inner strength that I have. It's because I have structure. And I know that on Tuesday afternoon, I start fasting. And I end fasting on Friday afternoon, Friday evening. It's a given. It is a part of my schedule. It is what I do. My team knows it. The pharmaceutical reps who come in know it. My family knows it. You know it. So everything around me is there and supports that part of my life. And so I've gotten used to that. That is the power of structure. But if I had to make a decision every single week, well, which day am I going to fast? How long am I going to fast? Am I going to fast this week? Guess what? There are some weeks that I probably should have fasted, but I don't fast because there's no structure. It is just based on my motivation. And as I said, motivation is fleeting, but structure is key. Structure allows us to do what we want to do. And it becomes, after a while, it becomes that routine. And we, in our job, in our environments, we can make that change. First, align yourself. Make sure that what you're doing is aligned with what you say you want to be and where you want to go. If you're not in that space now, you can go and you can create that space within the current job that you have, within the current retirement that you have. And in that space, within the space, you can make changes. So we've talked about accountability, right? So how about going to your job? Like I have one of our one of our patients who came to the office, saw one of the videos. I think he saw it because we play our videos in the office. Saw the video, decided he was going to fast, went back to his job, and now he has a group of people that fast with him. So what did he do? He influenced the environment. He decided that, okay, I'm going to do this for me, and I need some support, and I need to make sure that my environment is supportive of that and conducive to that. So he didn't go and tell everybody to throw everything out. He said, hey, I want to fast because I want to be healthy. Do you guys want to fast with me? And guess what? They're fasting together. That's the power that you have. That's the unlimited potential that you have. And remember that the unlimited potentials that we have comes not from outside. When we talked about New Year, New You, the unlimited potential that fuels limitless living is the you. The you that powers the limitless living. Often we get caught up in the things surrounding, but what gives power, what gives drive is the us that we are creating. And so as we get better, as we move into a better space, as we move into a understanding how our body works, as we move into developing tools, we can do and we can be better in our metabolism. We can make those changes. But learning the tools is what gives us the power. And when we've changed, when we show up differently, then everything around us begins to look different. There's a story I told. I'm trying to remember where I heard this, but it's kind of like when you decide you're going to buy a car, a particular type of car, particular color car. All of a sudden, you start to see that car everywhere. Do you think that because you decided to buy that car, that everybody else decided to buy it at the same time? That's not what happened. But because you made a decision, then all of a sudden your brain begins to identify that decision that you made in your environment. And the story I was thinking about is a guy and his wife decided that they were going to have the family. So I think she got pregnant. And so he's going to work. And he goes to the coffee shop. And he notices that the gal behind the counter that's been serving him every morning for the last, I don't know how many months, is pregnant. And he comes out and he gets in his car and he begins driving down the street and he notices that there's a daycare right next to the coffee shop. And he's going down the road and he noticed there's another childcare place that's nearby. And throughout his day now, because they're pregnant, he begins to notice those things around him. And that's what happens when you make a decision for your health. When you decide you're going to fast, when you decide that you're going to walk, when you decide you're going to get more rest, when you decide that you are going to take charge of your work environment, everything around you, when you've made that decision, everything around you begins to become aligned. You begin to notice things all around you that are supportive of where you want to go. In our video, our walking video, I think it was yesterday or today, one of the things I talked about was the fact that when we are aligned, when we are in this space, when we begin to make connection, it's like an explosion is happening. And when that explosion happens, the fragments from that explosion begin to hit other places in our lives. And those places begin having explosions. And those explosions are exploding and other pieces are coming out. And after a while, there are so many connections, so many enlightenments, so many concepts, so many ideas that we begin seeing that it is unlimited, limitless possibilities, because we've made a decision that we're going to be healthy. And one of the things that we have to do, and we don't talk much about this, is you've got to make a decision that this is what you want to do. Who are you going to be? I am working on my diabetes. I am improving my metabolism. I am losing weight. Notice what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm trying to lose weight or I am trying to control my diabetes. I'm trying to control my blood pressure. No, I am. So we stop wanting to be, and we are now being. I love that one. Love that one. Anyway, so that is the power of your environment. The power of your job is in your hands. We can make that change. And if we do make that change, it supports our metabolism, it supports our fasting, and when it supports our fasting, then all the benefits come that we were not expecting, or sometimes that we are expecting. All right, so let me go ahead and let's hop over, and I want to say hello to some of our community members again. Let's see. So Steve was saying hey. Steve saying hey friends. Pamela say hi Steve. Jennifer, hey Jennifer, how are you? Jennifer, howdy all. Pamela White saying hey Jennifer. Gian, hi Jennifer, I came back. Yeah, Gian, I just talked about you. Hi Pam. Gian is saying hi Cornelia, hi Steve. Hey Gian from Pam. Gian says I'm a minimalist. Yeah, see, I commented about that. Break for snack is my favorite thing. James Riley, my man, West Side. Hey y'all, this is one of my guys right there, James, thanks for coming through, man. Bowie says hi everybody. Hey Bowie, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Glad that you were here. And then Gion is saying hi Bowie. So glad that you are all here in this space. I want to remind you that let's do this. Let me go ahead and let's hop over and take a look at blood sugars on my report. Okay, let's do that. Let's go back over here to the overview. And so here is my report. This is my Dexcom Clarity report for the last 14 days, and you'll see that up here. So 14 days, average blood sugar of 105, with my time in range 99% of the time, with the range being between 70 to 180. And my glucose management indicator, if I were to get an A1C, then it would approximate that number. Now, I can't say that that's what it is because this is a calculated number, but it should approximate that. Okay, so 5.8. If I go back and look at this for 30 days, you'll see my average is 104 with a glucose management indicator of 5.8 also. And if I do that for 90 days, you'll see 134 with a glucose management indicator of 6.5. So I'm shooting for an A1C that's down near 6 when I come back. So you will recall over the last couple of months, my blood sugars have been higher. I was sick a little while ago, and it really took about a month and a half, almost a full 2 months, for those blood sugars to get to the point where I wanted them to be. And I think one of our community members was saying that when he got sick last year, that he found that those blood sugars were much higher. And so my blood sugars were about 30 to 40 points higher than I would have anticipated that they would have been. Okay, but excited. If I go back to the 30 days, So my glucose management indicator is a 5.8. So we'll see what that is as we get into, and I should be getting blood work here in another month or so, month or two. All right, and so let's go ahead and let's take a look at the daily graphs. And so here I am, right? So right now, over 33 hours, so about 34, a little over 34 hours. So blood sugars for most of today has been running, I don't know, I think the highest it got up here was like 114, but for most of the day, actually running below 90 or below 100, right? Spiked up right there. I think that's toothpaste, right in that area. And then down into the 70s and 80s. And if I go back for 24 hours, right? So back yesterday, you see we were 108. And so for most of that day, kind of in the mid 100s. And you guys know that I do one meal, well, not always, but most of the time I do one meal a day when I'm not fasting, on my non-fasting days. And that's what you see here was this spike up to about 190. And if I go back, you'll see here, right? So I think I don't know if I ate lunch. And you'll see that spike. Fluctuation, and those fluctuations lasted into that next morning, about 3 o'clock. Going into the day before that, right? Notice this is a flatter graph because I ate later in the evening, and what I ate, because I was eating in the evening, I didn't eat a whole lot, and so the blood sugars were much better. Okay. And this was we were ending camping right around here. And going into the day of camping, because we started camping Friday night into Sunday. And so during camp, blood sugars 120, 130s. I think it got up to 150s. Yeah, 160s was the highest that it got. And that was here. So during camp, I ate whatever we were eating at camp. And Friday is when I broke the fast right here at 72 hours. And you'll see even then, when I started eating for the next 24 hours, look at that, from 12 to 12, so midnight. And then even into the next day, we were still in the 100s. And that's one of the benefits of fasting. When you fast, particularly if you do one of the extended fasts, then you will find that the day after fasting, and maybe the day and a half after fasting, then your blood sugars are much more responsive to your normal process. So there are times when you come out of a fast, and the day after the fast, you're able to eat something that you couldn't have eaten the day before because the blood sugars would have spiked into the stratosphere. But now that you fasted, because you have become less insulin resistant, then your body is able to buffer. Oh, let me talk about that, man. Let me come here and talk about that. So remember, whenever we're talking about managing diabetes, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get whatever the blood sugar is to match whatever the body's ability is, right? So if you can do that, there is no need for medication. I want to make that point. If somehow you can get your blood sugar and the amount of management that your body is naturally able to produce to equal each other, there is no need for medication. So what medication does is medication brings your body's capacity up to meet your blood sugar. Right? Hey, my body's not making enough insulin, or my insulin isn't working. Let me give you more insulin so that it reaches where my blood sugar is. Or let me give you a medication that forces your body to make insulin. Right? So we bring the capacity of the body up to meet whatever the blood sugar is. But another way of doing that is what fasting does. Fasting says, no, the body already has the capacity to do something. It may not be much because of damage over the years, but what I can do is I can bring the blood sugar down to meet my body's capacity. And that's the beautiful part of fasting. that it naturally allows your body to be where it is and says, yeah, we're not going to mess with that. We're not giving you medication. We're not putting you on something to boost that up. We're going to leave that right where it is because that is where we are. Now, let me bring the blood sugar down to match. And when that happens, there's no reason for medication at that point. So there are people who fast, and during the day of their fasting, of course, they don't take medications. And coming into the fast, maybe the day before, half a day, full day, they don't take medication. And because of what happens during the fast itself, the day after they fast, that's 3 days. The day before, the day of the fast, and after the fast, they don't need medication. That's a 24-hour period. So imagine what happens if you do a 36 or 48-hour fast. Now we're talking about 4 days out of 7 where your medication dose, your amount of medication that you've taken has gone significantly down. So we decrease insulin, we suppress appetite, and we reduce sugar. Beautiful, beautiful process that happens during fasting. And remember, y'all, that we are in the process of reversing diabetes and dealing with all the diseases along the metabolic spectrum. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, pre-diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, obesity, and of course diabetes, right? That's the ultimate along that spectrum. But all of those diseases improve with the tools that we use. And we learn those. And all of it is based on our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the blogs, with the podcasts, with the shows that we do to change that mindset, to get you to understand how your body works and what you can do to make it better. We empower with the tools that we're learning. And that's why we're doing fasting. That's why we do the check-in, so that you can use that and begin working with it, putting it into practice on the things that we've learned. Balanced bites. Whole foods, minimize processing, no added sugar, lean protein, healthy fats, starchy, non-starchy vegetables, appropriate portion sizes. That is the concept of balanced bites. When you do that, guess what that does? It decreases insulin, suppresses the appetite, and it reduces sugar. Our 100-day walk to consistency, another tool. What does that do? When you move, when your body's working, guess what that does? It decreases your insulin, it suppresses your appetite, and it reduces your sugar. We're hitting all those pillars. So we educate, we empower with the tools, and we encourage with this community that you are part of, that you're helping to build. This community that is such an integral part of your success in righting your metabolism. Remember, dysfunctional metabolism is the culprit, and all the things that we're doing, the goal for what we're doing is how do we get the metabolism back into homeostasis? And homeostasis means normal, sameness, the way it's supposed to be. I encourage you, when you come, I want you to make sure that you are engaged, that you are using the tools. I love the fact that you listen. I love the fact that you're home journaling. I love the fact that you said that your mindset is changing, but your metabolism improves when you infuse the concepts that you're learning with your action. Your action gives life to the ideas that we talk about. They come to life because of your behavior. So don't just let them be things that you listen to and you hear. You want to make sure that you're implementing them. And then there are over 1 billion people, y'all. That's billion with a B. 1 billion people on the planet right now who are suffering from diabetes and pre-diabetes. You can be a voice for change in your family, at your church, in your community, on your job, around the corner. All those people are waiting for you to say to them, hey, we don't have to go out like this. Our family doesn't have to keep having heart attacks. We don't have to keep losing people in their 50s. We don't have to keep going on dialysis. We don't have to keep going blind. We don't have to keep having amputation and limbs cut off. We can be better. You get to say that to them because you are now learning. You are now improving. You are now living a limitless life. And remember, limitless living says that I am not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent me from doing what I need to do. I'm presenting my best self, my best health, and my best plans for my life. I'm breaking free from those constraints, and I'm taking charge of my life because I have the ability to make a decision. Man. I love this. I keep saying this is my favorite conversation, but this right here, if we can do this, if we can make these changes in our personal lives, oh man, what benefit that gives to the community. I'm always glad that I'm here with you. Always glad that you are here hanging out with me. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow for our fasting. Check in again. We'll be here on Friday as we break our fast together here on the show. Saturday night for Video from the Vault. And then on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Central, This Week in Review. And then, of course, back here on Monday, 7 p.m. Central for Dwain Woode, MD Live. If you're in our community, we'll do our community meetup here. You'll see that link on the YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you, chatting it up with you guys. If you're not in our community, right? We educate, we empower, we encourage. If you're not in the community, I encourage you to get in there. We have a great time. We have such fun as we support each other along this journey. Everybody, thank you for coming. I'll see you at our next episode. Good night.